Arguably the biggest political question right now in Republican world is, will the Trump people abandon Trump once and for all because of the FBI search warrant served at Mar-a-Lago? There's the Trump legality question, of course, which is he going to get charged? Is he going to jail? Whatever. Will he be eligible to run in 2024? But then there's the would people vote for him? And one of the things that we learned is that these MAGA people, many of whom were never involved in politics pre-Trump, may or may not remain involved in politics once Trump is no longer the person involved in politics. And, you know, we maybe have one more election cycle where Trump will be involved. And so it was with great interest that I awaited seeing some of exactly these interviews and clips that we're going to play for you today, which is your random MAGAs reacting to the FBI search warrant. And unfortunately, it's scary and it's insane. This is not merely disaster porn, although it is. It's also about, is there anything for which they would abandon Donald Trump? Now, there's been the infamous, I could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and people would still vote for me. And that may be the case. And compared to that, this seems relatively benign in some sense. So let's go right into some of these clips. Here's one guy saying, this is another bunch of rigor morse. Rigor morse.
All about jealousy, let's be honest.
Robert Tassi shared the same sentiment.
Have you seen the documents to prove it on reasonable doubt that that's a true statement, or is another political bunch of rigor morse to make him look even worse?
Now, aside from the fact that rigor morse is not a word, maybe he meant rigmarole, maybe he went some kind of rigor mortis Morse code, the sort of Morse code of a dying political dynasty. I don't know. I'm just kidding. I don't know what this guy's talking about. But there is a level of skepticism that these folks apply to any criticism of their beloved orange leader that they don't apply elsewhere.
Obama.
And he can say anything and they will defend him. And indeed, that seems to be the case here. Fox News, to their credit, they went down to Mar-a-Lago and they interviewed protesters and people who were out rallying for Trump and whatever else. And it's really scary. It's quite frankly, we have a crisis of critical thinking in this country. Take a look at this.
What is your view on the FBI and why they decided to raid the former president's property?
I think they're just a mafia, being ordered by Ray.
Yeah. It's a mafia ordered by Ray, Ray being the FBI director who was chosen by Donald Trump and who Donald Trump expressed unending confidence in. That's the guy who's running the mafia.
By Ray.
And after this man, our ex-president, for so long, they're trying to find any kind of dirt they can pull up on him.
This is insane. I never see this happen in the United States. Biden has to go to jail. Hunter is the one FBI has to go and get it.
Yeah, Hunter. Go and get Hunter. Now, what does Hunter have that the FBI would need to recover via a search warrant? I'm not aware of anything whatsoever. And so there's a combination here of unending devotion to the cult leader. There's whataboutism. And we've seen the whataboutism has been heavy. What about Hillary Clinton? Well, Benghazi was investigated. The email stuff was investigated. We know exactly why she wasn't charged. With Benghazi, she sat under oath and testified for 8 hours. There were 11 investigations, I believe the number is. These things are completely and totally different. There is no similarity. Hunter Biden. What on earth does Hunter Biden have to do with any of this? And then, of course, they talk about Obama. Obama what? Obama Gate, they say, but they can't even explain what that is. One more of these clips. This is also Fox News speaking to more people about the search warrant. And everybody's as confused as you can imagine.
And that's basically, this has been going on now for over 6 years. Ever since he came down the escalator, they've been after him.
By the way, this entire down the escalator, Trump has started using it as a sort of nostalgic phrase. From the moment I came down the escalator with our beautiful first lady, they've been going after me. That's the thing. Now his followers, his sycophantic followers, have started to repeat the whole down the escalator. The full story would be, ever since Trump came down the escalator and suggested most Mexicans coming over to the US are murderers and rapists, it's been XYZ. They'll never mention that extra little part.
Yesterday was the ultimate. We've never seen anything like that in my life.
I believe that they're trying to make it so he cannot run.
I think they're trying to attack the American people, and they're trying to go after the person who put us first and put our American godly values first.
You know what's funny about that? Put us first and put godly values first. Let's deal with them one by one. In terms of godly first, Trump's not religious. Trump has never been religious. Trump doesn't have any spiritual beliefs. It was all a sham, just like his supposedly anti-abortion stance. This was all contrived and fabricated in order to justify himself as a candidate for the Republican nomination, because the Democratic primary electorate would never have fallen for Trump in the first place. Bottom line, Trump's not religious. And you can look at what's your favorite Bible verse? Well, that's very personal. And when he talked about 2 Corinthians as if they walk into a bar, he's not religious, but these folks think this is a godly man. But more importantly, he put us first. And there's almost a twinge of sadness with that. And the reason I say sadness is these people are so duped. Trump has spent his entire life as a privileged rich kid from Queens who grew up in Manhattan, or from Manhattan who grew up in Queens, whatever, Queens, Manhattan. He's been trying to insulate himself from these folks his entire life. The people that donated the money to him, the people that put him in the White House, these aren't people that he actually likes. And as we've seen, he only even tolerates them to the extent that they're useful to him, either financially or more recently in his political career when they're useful politically. But they've been duped. They've fallen for it. It's really something else.
Godly values first. That's why I believe they're going after him to intimidate us as Americans.
Okay. In all seriousness, I don't know that even this is enough for the MAGATs to bail. It seems that the weekend saw kind of like a little bit shakier support. And I had the sense come Monday, come today, they'll be united. They'll either be united behind Trump or united in abandoning Trump. It's still not clear that it's all kind of shaken out, but they have a perfect way to cut ties with him. They could even say and try to maintain some credibility. We loved his platform in 2016. He did good things in 2016. We voted for him in 2020. We even think he won in 2020. Repeat the big lie. But at this point, he has become politically toxic, and the Republican Party needs to go in a different direction. They don't even really have to criticize him. They have an off-ramp. It doesn't seem as though the MAGATs are actually willing and ready. I'm seeing Hunter this, Hillary that, Obama this and the other thing, but Trump's godly and he's great and all this different stuff to their own detriment at this point in time.